Hello relatives, welcome to this week's Schlagbite for the week March 3rd, 2014, entitled Clinical Dinosaurs. The February issue of Current Psychiatry featured an editorial by Dr. Henry Nasrallah, who is professor and chairman of the Department of Neurology and Psychiatry at St. Louis University. He said that psychiatrists who were not speaking the new language of the open quote neuroscientification of psychiatry would soon be rendered obsolete. Henry says that we are at the tipping point in psychiatry. We're giving up primitive notions that have guided our profession for the past century. And we are moving to explaining all of our successes and failures in terms like microglial activation, inflammatory markers, aproptosis, S100B, and Notch 3. And those psychiatrists who are still talking about ego strengths and defense mechanisms, resilience, the unconscious mind, or the human spirit are clinical dinosaurs. Henry speaks for most psychiatric academicians nowadays who believe that the best way to understand the complexity of the human condition is to explain it in these fancy terms and neural transmitters and functional MRIs. But the truth is that no matter how much we know about the brain, that the mind is always going to have a mind of its own. The language of science cannot adequately explain the mystery, the awesomeness that are the essential part of the human experience. I was introduced to an old Hopi medicine man many years ago who, when he learned that I was a psychiatrist, said to me, "What did I know about the mind?" And I've written about this in my book, The Dancing Healers, in quite detail. But at the moment, I couldn't come up with any brief summation, so I said that what I knew about the mind I couldn't tell him in a short time, to which this beautiful old man responded that if I couldn't tell him what I knew about the mind in a short time, that I didn't know it. So I asked him what he knew about the mind, and he said that what he knew about the mind, he could tell me in one word. And with my arms folded, I looked at him and said, "Oh yeah, what is it?" And he said, "Mysterious." It's the mystery of it. And brain researchers tell us that the brain is hardwired for mystical experience. We are biologically programmed to experience awe and transcendent states that allow us to see the familiar from a new perspective, to experience the awesome. It matters less how we explain the mechanics of the mysterious than it does to know that it's important. I say to all of my colleagues in academia who are heralding the neuroscientification of psychiatry, I say to them, let's not take ourselves too seriously. Awe is the mechanism by which we tame the ego and through which we lift our spirits. As a postscript, I wrote to Henry. I told him I'd be in St. Louis in late April and that I'd come free of charge to talk to his department, something like the memoirs of a clinical dinosaur, and entitle it The Magic and Mystery of Mind Healing. Those are my thoughts for the week. Remember the magic in your life, and remember all those who lift your heart and spirit and who bring the magic to life. Have a great week. Remember, we're all connected. I say this for all my relations. Mitakwiyasi.